Welcome and good evening. This is Commissioner, and we are here in St. Louis for Game 2 of the World Series between the Detroit Rockets and the St. Louis Wizards. Yesterday's game saw a very close match where Detroit came out on top 4-3 after Larry Walker tied the game with a 3-run homer. Bobby Grich squeaked one by with the corners in, squeaked through a single to put Detroit ahead, and their relievers took care of things in the 8th and ninth inning the rest of the way to maintain that 4-3 victory. Detroit came into this the underdogs, especially against left-handed pitching, but they were able to take care of things yesterday against Carl Hubble. Today, they face the righty, Juan Marichal. We are, of course, in Sportsman Park here in St. Louis. It's a 1948 version of Sportsman Park. And we will see if the Wizards can turn things around in Game 2 and before this series heads to Detroit for the next 3 games. One small little comment I noticed afterwards is that on the scoring play with Bobby Grich hitting that single with the corners in, I mistakenly checked to see if that single was in fact a single or not, when I should have just let it go, because I only check the infield in on that chart if it's an out if it's a ground out to one of the fielders that's in, and it wasn't a ground out; it was a single off his card. So, in any event, the result was correct anyway. So I guess no harm, no foul. But hopefully, I don't make any other mistakes. Curious to hear what other people do when they make mistakes in their replays, especially if you find out after the fact. I know weird things happen in baseball, so maybe it's just all part of the game and we can chalk it up to that. But we are in the World Series, so things are a little bit more important here. So, taking the mound, as I said, for St. Louis is Juan Marichal. Let's take a look at and see the pitching staffs here. Marichal was 7-3 on the season, with the best ERA in the entire Maelstrom, 2.39 ERA. He's facing off against Brett Saberhagen for the Detroit Rockets. Saberhagen was 9-3 this season, with a 3.84 ERA. So an ERA a little worse than Clemens, but tied for most wins in the Maelstrom with 9. He was 9-3. So, with all of that said, let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. Detroit facing a righty starter will actually go with their traditional lineup. That is Kenny Lofton, batting leadoff and playing center field. Ichiro Suzuki in right. Alex Rodriguez at shortstop, batting third. Dick Allen in the cleanup spot at first base. Adrian Beltre moves up to the number 5 spot, playing third base. Charlie Blackwell will bat 6th at DH. Bobby Veach is in left field tonight. Manny Ramirez playing left field with lefty pitchers, but Bobby Veach will step into this one. Likewise, Bill Freehan is behind the plate instead of Thurman Munson. He's batting 8th. And finally, Bobby Grich had a great game yesterday, but Lou Whitaker will be playing second base here against the righty for St. Louis. I think we'll also take a look at the St. Louis lineup. I didn't do that until they came to bat in yesterday's game, but I think it will save us some time going through the positions if I do that right now. So we'll have positions and all of that and the lineups all at once here. So Oscar Charleston, they'll have the same lineup, by the way, as yesterday. Oscar Charleston leading off, playing center field, followed by Tony Gwynn in right. Actually, slight change to that. Tony Gwynn's going to be DHing, and Larry Walker will be in right. Let me just make that change real quick. Tony Gwynn will DH. Larry Walker will be in right field. Okay, and then I need to adjust the defense. Sorry for that, folks. I got to put in Larry Walker here in the defense. Larry Walker actually has a better arm than Gwynn. A little bit better range. But I think Gwynn has a little bit better, he's a little bit better fielding percentage. In any event, Gwynn will be DH in here tonight. Larry Walker batting third in right field. Stan Musial, left field, and batting cleanup. Willie McCovey playing first base, batting fifth. Ted Simmons batting sixth behind the plate at catcher. Ron Santo, third base, and batting seventh. Number 8 hitter is Rogers Hornsby, playing second base. And finally, we have Ozzie Smith, who will be playing shortstop and batting ninth for the St. Louis Wizards. So let's get back to Detroit here. And let's get this thing started. All right. We are ready for the first pitch. 5 is a tough 39, and that is going to be a leadoff single for Kenny Lofton. Lofton had 2 stolen bases yesterday, and with the jump number of 4 here, he has a jump of 8. He will we'll have to take a look to see if he attempts here. 39. I believe he will. B2 is 1 to 67, I believe. We have a different hold rating now, though. A hold rating of 8, so a steal of 8, hold rating of 8, or a jump of 8, I should say. 8, 8, and he's going to get a lot of jumps here. 0 to 77, and he's going to take a chance at it. So B2, 27. That's not going to be good. And he is caught stealing. Simmons guns him down at second base. It's the second time he's been caught. Yesterday he was caught trying to steal third when he got on base to lead off the game. And he does not learn his lesson in this one. Lofton was led, I think, the American League in steals, but also in caught stealings. And we see that taking place here as he attempts to take second here and is unsuccessful. Simmons guns him down there at second. That brings up Ichiro Suzuki. Tough out 29. And on tough outs, anything beyond the strikeout range, you go right to their out area. And that's going to be a pop-up to second. That actually came in handy here for Marichal, as Suzuki would have had a base hit otherwise. Next up, Alex Rodriguez with 2 outs now. Tough out again, and he will strike out to end the inning. So, 3 up and 3 down after that leadoff single and caught stealing by Kenny Lofton. So, we have Brett Saberhagen here on the mound, and he'll face off against Oscar Charleston at the bottom of the first. Tough 66. And that will be a fly out to Bobby Veach in left for the first out of the game for the Wizards. Tony Gwynn batting second. Tough 34. And Gwynn, even though he's behind in the count, he slaps that one in for a base hit. Now his jump rating here would be a 7. But the jump is an 8 here, so he will stay where he is. And that brings up Larry Walker. Bill Freehand, by the way, with the best arm rating that a catcher can have. So didn't allow very many steals. So it's probably good that he didn't get a jump there. Tough 58. And that will barely be a base hit from Larry Walker here. That's going to be a single to right. That's Ichiro there in right field. Gwynn not with the greatest speed. Let's take a look. First to third to right field. In play would be 7 or above. Normally. It wasn't an in play. It was a tough. So I usually subtract 2 on toughs, because those are usually shallow. That'd be a 4 or less, and Gwynn will try to take a steal here, or take third, but he does not. So we have men on first and second, with Stan Musial coming up. Defense. That's going to be a pitcher range. He is a C range pitcher. That's 1 to 48 would be a hit, and 49 just past that range. So it is going to be a fielder's choice. So they're going to try to get 2. They didn't quite complete it, so 1 to 6 there. Walker will be out at second. Gwynn advances to third. And Stan the Man is on first base. He won't go anywhere here with a jump of only 3. Willie McCovey. Patient, 85. And Saberhagen's behind in the count, but McCovey's trying to get something started here, and instead grounds out to Lou Whitaker there at second base. And that will be the end of the first inning. All tied up at 0. Dick Allen will lead off the second. In play, 99, and that is going to be a fly out to Stan Musial in left. 1 away. Adrian Beltre steps up. Beltre was 2 for 4 yesterday. Tough out, 96. And that's going to be another fly out to left. That's 2 straight flyouts to left. And that brings up Charlie Blackwell, trying to get something started here for Detroit. It's going to be a defense check. Third base range, 15. That's probably going to get by. Sano's range is B, but 15 is low enough that that's going to be a clean single. Not able to quite get over there to it. And Blackwell is on first base with 2 out. Jump of 2. He has a steal of 4. So we're going to see if he attempts here. 95. He's not going to attempt. Just so you can see. If 4 with a hold of 8. 4 with a hold of 8. He would have attempted on a 0 to 63. But this 95 is too high. So he'll stay put and bring up Bobby Veach here in his first at bat of the World Series. Tough 30. It's not a wild pitch. That's sometimes a wild pitch. But Marichal does not have a wild pitch rating. 30 is beyond the tough range here, which means it's going to be a pop out to Hornsby there at second base. And the Rockets go quietly here in the second inning. Bottom of the second, Ted Simmons step into the plate. Saberhagen deals. And that's going to be a defense check. Rare play 1. Rare play 1. So bases are empty. Defense check 1. Ball is smashed down the third base line. Third baseman with an A or a B range stops the ball, holding the batter to a single. Let's see what the range is. I'm pretty sure that's Beltre out there, and he's a D range. Does not have a great range on that. So we will continue. Third base with a range of C or worse cannot get to the ball, and it bounces into the corner for a double. So Simmons pulls into second with a double down the line, and that also noted. Check the third baseman for injury. This could be bad for Detroit. Let's take a look here at Beltre. He's an iron, so iron, he should be okay, but let's just take a look. Iron, 0 to 69, he's going to be okay and not miss any time. If it's higher than that, he will at least miss the rest of the game. And it is. Beltre pulled something there. 72. Oops. 72 means he will just be injured the remainder of today's game. So Beltre kind of pulled something on his attempt to get that ball down the line. And so he's going to have to come out of the game. And in his place will be Greg Nettles. That's going to be a big blow to the lineup here for Detroit. So we're going to go into defense here and put Nettles in there. And we're going to go into lineup manager and put Nettles in for Beltre here in the lineup as well. All right. So big play there. And I usually make a little comment here. Beltre injured on a sharp hit down the line. Fortunately, he'll only miss the rest of this game. But we have Simmons on second. See if he makes any thought of getting a good jump. He does not. That brings up Ron Santo here against Saberhagen. Saberhagen, runner on scoring position to start off the inning here. Tough 92. And that is going to be a ground out to short. Rodriguez looks him back and fires over to Dick Allen there for out number 1. The way I usually play it is 10, 11, or 12, the runner would go. Or if it's hit to the right side, the runner goes to third on a ground ball. That's usually the way I play it. Rogers Hornsby. 7, in play 16. And that's going to be a base hit. Hornsby didn't have the best batting average during the season. That's a base hit to center. Now Simmons only has a 5 for running though. And that's hit to Lofton there in center. So that 5 he may hold up anyway. In play 7 or above, he is not going to take a chance. And he's going to hold up at third. Simmons with no speed whatsoever. Hornsby does not look to get a jump there at first. That brings up Ozzie Smith with runners on the corners. Only 1 out. Detroit will be playing corners in at this point. Patient 18, and that's going to load the bases. Saberhagen into some trouble here in the second inning. Bases are loaded. Charleston steps up with 1 out. Infield is going to be in. And Saberhagen losing some control here. He's going to walk in a run here. Oscar Charleston is going to watch ball 4 go by. Concern in the Detroit dugout here. Tony Gwynn, bases are still loaded. They're going to play even up here so that they stop a big inning from happening. That's another patient. He only has 1 patient on his whole card here, and it's come up 3 straight times. And that's going to be a base hit also. The Wizards charging back here, so that's going to score Hornsby. Smith does not have the greatest speed. And that's also hit to center. Now this was a patient result. So single second to home. It would be a choice. And Smith is a 6 running. And Lofton is a 6 out there. Let's roll to see if he even attempts it. And he is going to attempt to make it home on this one. Lofton's going to fire away, but not in time. That's going to be a 2-run single. Charleston holds up at second. Gwynn knocks in 2 more. And right away, the Wizards are up 3-0 here in the bottom of the second inning. And that brings up Larry Walker. Ballpark. 48. That's going to be a wheelhouse. Could be dangerous, except that 81 is past Walker's wheelhouse range here. That's going to be a deep fly out to center field. Deep enough that Charleston will take third on that. Lofton catches that one at the wall. They had flashbacks of yesterday's game where Walker had a 3-run homer. Stan the Man comes up with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Saberhagen trying to get out of this inning with no more damage done. Tough 6, and he will strike out Musial to end the inning. The Wizards fans are going crazy right now. They're up 3-0. And they have the best ERA in the league out on the mound to continue this against the Detroit Rockets. Bill Freehand will try to get something started here in the top of the third. Tough 63. He is going to fly out to right. Walker hauls that one in. Brings up Lou Whitaker. Weak part of the order here for the Rockets. In play 14. That's going to be a base hit, though. Whitaker, not the best average during the season, but he makes the most of his first World Series at bat here, and he gets on base. He's not going to do anything there to try to get a jump. Brings up Kenny Lofton. In play 27. And that's going to be another base hit. It's going to be to right field. I don't believe in play 7 or above. Whitaker only has a 6. So he's going to stay put. Marichal running into some trouble of his own here. Ichiro Suzuki, he's 0 for 6. Had the best average there in the American League, I believe. In play 42. And that's going to be another base hit at the end of Ichiro's single range here. Let's see what happens here with Whitaker. That's a base hit to left. Ichiro must have slapped that one in. And a single left in play. Whitaker's going to hold up. That's going to load the bases. And up steps Alex Rodriguez. Best power in the American League. Struck out in his last at bat, but the bases are loaded with only 1 down here. Wizards are playing straight up, hoping for that double play. Actually, with the bases loaded and 1 out, probably corners in here. Oops, wrong one. 6-14. In play 14. That's going to be another single. That's 4 straight singles. And now you have the speedy Lofton on second base. That's hit to right. Second to home. In play 8 or above. That is in play 8 or above. First to third in play 7 or above. That's going to be a 2-base single here. Scoring Whitaker and Lofton, and Suzuki goes to third. And right now, Detroit is back in this one. They're only down by 1. Rodriguez will stay put there on first base. Wizards fans are nervous as Dick Allen steps up, only 1 down. Corners are going to be in again. Tough 51, and he strikes out. Allen strikes out. Marichal has a chance to get out of this one. Beltre would have been the batter, but he is on the bench right now due to an injury. And that brings up Greg Nettles, who had hardly any at-bats this season. He is a lefty, though. Let's see what happens here. Tough 20, and he strikes him out. Beltre would have also struck out, just for those of you who are curious. He watches strike 3 go by. And Detroit not quite able to tie the game here, but they do get back into this one. 3-2. We're going to head to the bottom of the third with a tight score here. Willie McCovey steps to the plate. Tough 78. That's going to be a fly out to Lofton in center for out number 1. Ted Simmons, who had that ball hit down the line last inning, that started everything. Ballpark. He's a switch hitter, so he'll be a lefty here. 55 is in play, barely. And 72 is going to be a ground out to short here. Rodriguez over to Allen for out number 2. Ron Santos steps up. Tough 59. Just past his base hit range here in the tough section. And he's going to ground out there to Nettles at third for out number 3. As we head to the 4th inning, Detroit still down 3-2. Blackwell steps up. Tough 68. And that's going to be a ground out to Ozzie Smith at short for the first out of the 4th inning. Bobby Veach. Patient 24, and he's going to walk Veach. Veach got ahead in the count. He's patient, and he takes first base. Jump rating 5, his jump is 4, so he's going to stay put there. Brings up Bill Freehan. Tough out 47, so that means, of course, that if it's past the strikeout range, we head right to the outs. Freehan would have had a base hit here. Instead, he's going to line out to Hornsby at second. So once again, that tough out has saved a base hit. Lou Whitaker, 2 down, 1 man on. Tough 35. And that's going to be another base hit. Whitaker, 2 for 2. Veach will take third. Oh, no, he will not. Take that back. Normally, runners with a 6 or better running take 2 bases, and Veach only has a 5. So he's only going to get to second on this base hit. Let's see if that matters. Kenny Lofton. Men in scoring position now, or a man in scoring position. In play 29, and that may matter. That's going to be a base hit. Once again, Veach only has a 5 running rating, so he is not going to try to go to score on this one. His speed or lack thereof really hurting the chances here for Detroit. Any other runner on the team would have scored on that one. But Ichiro steps up. Great contact hitter here with 2 outs. In play 66. I think he's going to get out of this one. It's a fly out to Stan Musial to end the inning, but another threat there by the Detroit offense. Wizards stepping up bottom of the 4th, up 3-2. Saberhagen deals to Hornsby. In play 20. That's going to be a base hit. Hornsby's 2 for 2. Not going to do anything there to get a jump. Ozzie Smith, who will sacrifice 2, 3, or 11. But this is a 4. Tough 12. And he strikes him out. Smith doesn't strike out very often. Oscar Charleston. 1 man on and one out. Ballpark. 76. That's going to be an in-play 80. And that's a fly out to Lofton in center for out number 2. Gwynn, also 2 for 2 this game. 2 RBIs in his last at bat. Tough 60. And this time it's going to be a ground out to third. Nettles over to Allen for out number 3, and we head to the 5th. The Wizards still with a 3-2 lead. Alex Rodriguez steps up to the plate. Tough out, and he strikes him out. Dick Allen, another offensive threat, only 1 for 7 in this World Series. Tough 33, that's another strikeout. That's the 5th for Marichal in the 5th inning here. And that brings up Nettles. Patient 75. Nettles works it ahead in the count, but he swings and drives one to Charleston there in center for the 3rd out of the inning. 1-2-3 inning there. Just what the Wizards needed here. We head to the 5th. The bottom of the 5th. Larry Walker facing Saberhagen here. Now, Saberhagen does have a fatigue of 9, so he's not going anywhere unless he really gets shelled here. Patient 94. That's a high number, but that's going to hit Walker. Walker takes first base. Not going anywhere. Brings up one of the best offensive players in the National League. In play 36. Just beyond the singles range here, and that's going to be a pop-up to short. Rodriguez hauls it in for out number 1. McCovey. In play 68. It's a ground out to short again, or another hit to short here, but the 7 here is higher than both double play ratings, so that's going to be a fielder's choice here at second base. Rodriguez to Whitaker. So McCovey now on first. 2 outs. Ted Simmons up. Patient 87. And that's going to be a ground out to second. Whitaker takes it over to Allen for out number 3 and the end of the 5th inning. We head to the 6th. Blackwell leading things off for Detroit. Marichal also has a 9 for fatigue, so he won't be doing anything either here for a while. Tough out 66. And that's going to be a fly out to left field. Musial hauls that one in for out number 1. Bobby Veach. In play 18. And that's going to be a base hit. Detroit trying to get something started here. Jump of 7. So Veach won't be attempting anything. Bill Freehan. Still looking for that first World Series base hit. He will not find it here. He strikes out. Lou Whitaker. Tough 37. And Whitaker is going to be 3 for 3 here. Veach, again, with not much speed. So he's only going to get to second. But we have men on first and second with 2 out. Lofton, who's also 3 for 3 this game. Trying to keep things going. Tough 78. Instead, that's going to be a ground out to short to end the inning. Smith tosses it over to McCovey for the 3rd out, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. The Wizards still holding on to that 3-2 lead. Saberhagen deals to Santo this time. And he's going to walk him. A leadoff walk for Ron Santo. He's not going to attempt anything here. Hornsby, 2, 3, or 4, he's going to try to sack bunt. But it's not. Tough 31. And he strikes him out. Ozzie Smith. Santos still on first. Patient 92. And that's going to be a fly out to right. Ichiro hauls this one in for out number 2. Gets us back to the top of the order. Oscar Charleston. He's 0 for 2 today's game. In play 25. That is going to be a base hit, though. And Santos is going to take third on that single. Runners on the corners. His steal jump is 5, and this is a 6, so Charleston's not going anywhere. They're going to hope for some more Tony Gwynn magic here with 2 outs. Ballpark, 38. That's a wheelhouse. Gwynn with not much power, 95. That's going to be a deep fly ball. Ichiro at the wall hauls it in for out number 3. Dangerous situation there for the Rockets, but they escape. And we're still 3-2 here as we head to the 7th. Ichiro leading off. Tough 26. And he's going to have a leadoff single here. Jump of 12 means we're going to take a look at the pickoff here. With a hold of 8, I doubt it's going to be a pickoff, but we'll see. 75. Oops, where are we here? Hold of 8, 75 is safe, so no pickoff. Alex Rodriguez, no sack bunt number. He's not looking to bunt, which makes sense. Tough 76. He is going to fly out to Charleston there in center for the first out of the 7th inning here. That brings up Dick Allen. Allen, 1 for 8 this World Series with 4 strikeouts. Tough out 76. That's not good for him. And that's another fly out to Charleston in center. 2 down. And we head to Greg Nettles here. Tough 82. It's likely going to be an out. Tough 82. And that's a ground out to second. That's going to end the inning. So Detroit not able to take advantage of that leadoff single. Takes us to the bottom of the 7th. 7th inning stretch. We have Larry Walker leading off here for the Wizards. Trying to add some insurance. Tough 40. And Walker watches strike 3 go by. As I said in yesterday's game, if this number is an 8, 9, or 0, I call it a strikeout looking. Musial steps in. He's 0 for 3 today. Tough 46. And he's going to line out to Whitaker at second for out number 2. Willie McCovey, 2 down. Tough 99. And that is going to be a fly out to Ichiro there. 1, 2, 3 inning. And that takes us to the 8th. Marichal still says he's in good shape. So he'll come out here to start the 8th inning. Doesn't look tired. Holding on to a 1-run lead here. And he'll face off against Blackwell. In play 82. That's going to be another fly out to Charleston. He's had quite a few out there in center. Which brings us to Bobby Veach. We're in the bottom of the order here for the Rockets. But Veach, a better fielder than Ramirez by a long shot. He's going to stay in this game just in case. They're going to hope that they don't need that extra offense here. In play, 71. That's going to be a ground out to short. Ozzie Smith over to McCovey for out number 2. Bill Freehand. He's 0 for 3 this game. Well, he's a hit over 300 on the season for the Rockets. He's going to stay in this one. They're going to let him hit. Defense. Left field range 76. That's probably going to be fine. And yeah, that'd be fine for anybody. That's a deep fly to left. But Stan's able to haul that one in for out number 3. That's 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 8th. Saberhagen will stay out there as well. In the bottom of the 8th, he'll face Ted Simmons. Tough 63. It's going to be a fly out to Bobby Veach in left for out number 1. Ron Santos steps in. In play, 47. That's a ground back to the pitcher here. Or grounded back to the pitcher, I should say. Saberhagen throws over to Allen for out number 2. This will likely be Saberhagen's last batter if he can get through this one. Hornsby steps in. He's 2 for 3 today. 12-8. Saberhagen leaves that one hanging, and Hornsby takes it deep for a home run. The Wizards crowd is going crazy here as that extends their lead, gives them a little bit of insurance here. They're up 4-2. Saberhagen shaking his head. Still feels good. There's a mound visit here. Saberhagen wanting to get through this inning, though, and they're going to let him face Ozzie Smith. Tough 42. And Smith hits one back to Saberhagen again. So Saberhagen will walking off the mound. Wizards fans are going crazy here. 9th inning. We head to the 9th. Detroit's down 2. It sounds like boos in the stands right now, but those are not boos. Marichal, 8 innings pitched. And they're going to bring in Bruce Sutter. Sutter was very good this season. Led the National League in saves. And he is coming in to face the Detroit offense here. Bruce Sutter. Detroit with a decision to make. Whitaker, normally not a great hitter, but he's 3 for 3 today. They have some good options on the bench. Normally, I would go with the bench, but with Whitaker 3 for 3, he's earned the right to give it a shot and take his hacks out there. Ballpark. 68. That's going to be an in play, and that's going to be a double. That's in the gap. A leadoff double for Lou Whitaker. And the St. Louis fans quiet down a little bit. Detroit still needs 2 to tie, but that gets them back to the top of their lineup here with Kenny Lofton, who's 3 for 4 today and 4 for 8 on the series. Whitaker not going to attempt to do anything down 2 runs. That run's meaningless, so he's not even going to look to see if he can take a lead. And they're not going to even hold him on. Sutter deals. Tough 27. And that's going to be a base hit for Lofton. Whitaker holds up at third. Doesn't want to make the first out of the inning here when he's not even the tying run. He'll hold up at third, play it safe. Lofton, normally one to take chances running, does not get a good jump here. So he's staying put. That brings up Ichiro. Still nobody out. Tying run on first. The Wizards just playing straight up here. They know that runner on third is pretty meaningless at this point. They don't want to risk a big inning. Tough 7. And Ichiro strikes out. Not known for striking out very often. But Suter does what he needs to here. And that gets to Alex Rodriguez. 1 down, runners on the corners. Suter deals. Tough 58. And Rodriguez is able to fight that one off. A 1-2 count for a base hit. Let's see where that goes. That's to center. Now it's tough. So Lofton is just going to play it safe and hang at second base here. Tying run in scoring position. Wizards fans quiet. Dick Allen at the plate. Only 1 out. Suter sweating, trying to get out of this one. Tough 53, and he strikes out Dick Allen. For out number 2. And so we have an interesting decision to make here. Nettles. McGuire does play third, and so does Dick Allen. So Nettles is going to see a pinch hitter here, and it's going to be Mark McGuire. So McGuire comes in with 2 outs, runners on first and second. They really only need a good base hit here. We know what McGuire is known for. Let's see what happens. Suter is a big strikeout pitcher. Defense is playing straight up. Tough 60. And that is going to be a double. McGuire behind in the count. Rodriguez on first. Let's see where this one's hit. Things could get interesting here. It's hit to center. Double to center in play. If it had been in play, it's 7 or above, but it was a tough. And I usually downgrade the running by 2. So Rodriguez would be a 5. If I roll 5 or lower, he's going to crazily try to take home. I do not. So he will hold up. But this game is tied. Suter blows the save. Wizards fans are definitely, they're not saying Bruce anymore. There are boos coming out. They do not like what they're seeing here. That brings up Blackwell. Runners on second and third with 2 out. And he strikes out Blackwell to get out of the jam. But not before the damage is done. As McGuire is going to come in to play third here. And we are going to make a pitching change. So Saberhagen also with 8 innings. And they are going to bring in Louis Tiant here. To face the top of the Wizards order. Now Tiant hasn't had the best relief pitching this season, but given their options, he's probably the best option here. The Wizards looking to just get men on base to score here. Quiet in their dugout. And first pitch against Charleston. Tough 19, and that's going to be a strikeout. Tiant strikes out Charleston for the first out of the inning. Brings up Tony Gwynn. Patient 45. That's going to be a base hit, and this is what they were worrying about. Tiant definitely doesn't have great control all the time, and so Gwynn is going to make it to first here with a base hit. And now Tiant will head into the heart of the Wizards lineup here, starting with Walker. Patient 90. And for the second time this game, Walker leans into that one. And that's going to put men in scoring position here, or Gwynn is going to be in scoring position at least, with a winning run. And Tiant is going to face Stan Musial here. 8, tough 54. G5. That's higher than Tiant's double play rating. So it is going to be fielder's choice. They're trying to get get 2 outs here on a double play, but instead they have to settle for a 5-4 fielder's choice. McGuire not close enough to third to get the lead runner. So 2 outs. Runners on the corners. Willie McCovey up. He's 0 for 4 today, only 1 for 7 this series, and they're going to face him. Tiant deals patient 81. And that's going to be a flyout. We're going to extra innings. We are going to the 10th. Suter is going to come out for the Wizards. He only lasted 1 inning. And we are going to bring in... Let's see what we're facing here. Bottom of the order. I think we're going to bring in John Smoltz. We are going to bring in John Smoltz. Smoltz can stay out there a while if he needs to. Bobby Veach, he will face Bobby Veach to lead off here. Veach will bat. Defense. Shortstop error. Smith with a great... Yeah, that won't be an error. Maybe a ground out to short. Smith makes an amazing grab at that one. Spins, throws to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Bill Freehan. He's 0 for 4, but they're going to let him bat. Tough 28, and he strikes out Freehan. Freehan watches strike 3 go by. Lou Whitaker, 4 for 4 today, with a key hit there in the 9th to get them started. They're definitely going to let him bat. Tough 53. And he makes his first out of the game. Dribbles one back to Smoltz for the 3rd out. Tiant will stay out there 1 more inning. He'll start by facing Ted Simmons here in the bottom of the 10th. Tough 44. And that's going to be a comebacker to Tiant, who tosses over to Allen for the first out. Ron Santo. In play 84. That's going to be a ground out to short. They're going down pretty quietly here, not threatening this inning. Hornsby, who had that key home run, the go-ahead homer in the 8th. Seems so long ago now. Patient 35, and he draws a walk, a 2-out walk here. Ozzie Smith. They're probably going to let him bat because, I mean, Pee Wee Reese has not great range. So Smith is going to be allowed to bat here. Defense. First of all, it was a 30, but there's no wild pitch. So defense. Shortstop range 5. That's going to be bad. Alex Rodriguez can't get to that one. It squeaks by him for a base hit. So suddenly we have man in scoring position here. Hornsby's on second. Top of the order. Louis Tiant into some trouble here. Let's see if he can get out of it. There's a 2 down. Tough 90. And that will get out of the inning. A ground out to Whitaker for out number 3. We head to the 11th. We head to the 11th, and they have the top of the order to face Smoltz here in the 11th. Detroit trying to get anything going. He's going to strike out Lofton to start off the inning. Brings up Ichiro, who struck out in his last at bat. Tough 8, and he will strike him out also. Smoltz. Ichiro watches strike 3 go by. Brings up Alex Rodriguez. And Rodriguez draws a walk. 2-out walk for Rodriguez here. Trying to keep things going here. Jump up 10 there. He's not going to go anywhere. Dick Allen steps in. Tough 74. And that's going to be a fly out to Charleston to end the top of the 11th, excuse me. So now the Rockets, Tiant is going to exit the game. And they don't want to bring in, well, there is a day of rest next, so they're going to bring in Quisenberry here. Quisenberry comes in to pitch the 11th. And he will face Gwynn. Patient, 83. That's too high. That's going to be a fly out to Lofton in center for out number 1. Larry Walker. Tough. And remember, we have to add 10 to this. Tough 72. And Walker's going to ground out to A-Rod there for out number 2. Musial 0 for 5 today. In play 94. And he will be 0 for 6. As we head to the 12th inning. Score still tied at 4. Smoltz, they're leaving Smoltz out there. He'll face Mark McGuire to lead things off here. McGuire had come in to pinch hit and had that key RBI double to tie the game in the 9th. In play 18. That's going to be a base hit. A leadoff single for Mark McGuire, who has no speed, so he's not going to go anywhere. Brings up Charlie Blackwell, 2 through 4, he will sack bunt. Blackwell is 1 for 5 today. Defense. Second base range, that's not good. 2 is always a base hit. And that's going to be a clean single. 1 base single for Blackwell. Bobby Veach, 1 for 5. Left field. 2 through 5 or 10, he'll sack bunt. They're gonna let him bat just in case. And he's gonna attempt a sack bunt. 20. He's an A bunter. A 20. And that's gonna be a sack bunt to 4. 1 or 4 is pitcher. So Smoltz takes this one over to first, but the runners advance. And we have runners on second and third with only 1 out. As the Rockets get something going here, Bill Freehan steps in. And they're likely going to pinch hit for Freehan here with Ramirez. So Manny Ramirez is pinch hitting for Bill Freehan here. Rockets have a very deadly bench. Smoltz staying in this one. Going to try to get out of this jam. Tough 27, and he's going to strike out Manny Ramirez for out number 2. Normally, as I mentioned, they would pinch hit for Whitaker, but he is 4 for 5 in today's game and had that key hit in the 9th, so they are going to let him bat. Tough 70. He's going to fly out, and they had runners on second and third with 1 out and could not score them. So, Munson comes in for Freehan behind the plate, as well as in the lineup. All right. So Quisenberry will stay out there to face McCovey. Defense. Third base error 58. McGuire's error rating at third, I have to look up because that's probably not his. Let's see, McGuire, third base error rating of 1, which is not good, but still good enough. He's able to get to that one and take it to first to get the first out unassisted here. Ted Simmons. Simmons only 1 for 5. They do have some options actually, but they will probably pinch hit with Chipper Jones here. Yeah, they're gonna pinch hit here with Chipper Jones. Quisenberry deals. In play 3, that is a double. And just like that, the Wizards fans are going crazy again as they have a runner in scoring position. And Ron Santos steps in. He's 0 for 4 today. He has yet to have a hit in the World Series. But he is one of the better hitters on the team, so he is going to stay in and hit. Ballpark. 63. That's going to be in play. 90. It's a ground out to short. He looks Chipper back. Fires over to first for out number 2. Rogers Hornsby. Again, one of the bad hitters on the Wizards, but he's had a great game today, so they're going to let him hit. Tough 15, and he strikes, actually tough 25, because we have to add 10. Still a strikeout. He's going to strike out to end the threat. So just like that, we are heading to the 13th here. Now, we had to pinch hit for Simmons. So Mike Piazza's coming in to catch. And he will come in here as well. And so he's catching. And now we have Smoltz, who's pitched 3 innings, will actually come out. They have a couple of options. They're going to go to lefty, Warren Spahn. So Warren Spahn coming in to pitch for the Wizards. And he's facing the top of the order, Kenny Lofton. In play 60 against lefties now. And that's going to be a line out to short. Good start to the inning here for Spahn. Next up is Ichiro. Ballpark. 39. That's a wheelhouse. 62. Ichiro with no power, though. That's going to be a ground out to third. Alex Rodriguez. In play 30 against lefties. And he pops out to second to end the inning. 1, 2, 3. We head to the bottom of the 13th. Amazing. And that was 2 innings for Tiant and Quisenberry. And they're going to have to bring in, they will bring in David Cone. Here, David Cone is coming in to pitch for the Rockets. Ozzie Smith is going to stay in there to hit. Wheelhouse 71. That may have been a mistake to keep Smith in here. No power. But if this game continues, they would need his defense, trust me. Charleston. Patient 12, and he walks Charleston. So they may give something going here. 1 out. Charleston on first. He's not going anywhere. Tony Gwynn. Tough 61. And that's a fly out to left for out number 2. Larry Walker. 6, tough 83. And that's a fly out to center. We go to the 14th. This marathon game. All right, folks, let's check in. We are in the top of the 14th inning of this marathon game. And if we take a look at pitching here, we see Detroit has had Saberhagen, who went 8 innings. Louis Tiant went 2. Quisenberry went 2. And David Cone is currently in the game pitching for the Wizards. Juan Marichal went 8 innings. Then Bruce Sutter went 1 inning and blew the save. Smoltz came in and pitched 3 innings, and now Warren Spahn is in his 2nd inning of relief. So I give this recap because this game has gone on so long that this is my 2nd day of filming, actually. So where we're at now is we have Dick Allen to bat against Warren Spahn in the top of the 14th inning. Now let's see what happens as Spahn deals to Allen. In play, 90, and that's going to be a ground out to short. Ozzie Smith over to McCovey for out number 1. The Rockets have yet to get a hit off of Warren Spahn. Next up we have would have been Adrian Beltre, but he got injured in the first. So we have Mark McGuire actually still in. He's 2 for 2 after he came in to replace Nettles with a double. He had that key RBI double in the 9th that tied the game. And then he had a single in his last at bat in the 12th inning. Let's see what he can do here. Tough, 67. And that's going to be another ground out. This time to Hornsby at second. That is a string of outs so far. And that brings up Charlie Blackwell with 2 down. In play 5. That is going to be a base hit. Blackwell with a double in the gap, giving some life to the Rockets here in the 14th inning. Bobby Veach is next up. Manny Ramirez has already pinch hit this game, so he is no longer available. And so Veach will go ahead and bat. Probably. Let's see who they have on the bench. Who else they have on the bench. He's their only left fielder left, so he will have to bat. Oh no! And it's a good thing he did. Spahn leaves one hanging, and Veach takes that one deep. Back, and that one is gone. Veach with a 2-run homer here in the 14th inning to put Detroit on top. Veach a little bit more power against lefties, but not a whole lot of power overall. So the fact that Manny Ramirez had pinch hit earlier in the game actually saves the Rockets in this case. That's going to bring up Thurman Munson, who had come in to catch after Manny Ramirez's pinch hit appearance in the 12th inning. Spahn still on the mound. Wizards fans silent. Patient 44, and that's going to be a base hit for Munson. And that's going to bring up Lou Whitaker. Munson's not going anywhere with that jump rating. Spahn trying to get out of the inning. He deals. And he walks Whitaker. That may be all for Spahn. 1 2/3 innings for Spahn. And they bring in Fergie Jenkins. Jenkins with 2 innings in yesterday's game. He will get the ball here to try to close out the 14th inning here. And he'll do it against the top of the lineup here. Kenny Lofton with men on first and second. 2 down. Jenkins deals. Tough 32. And that's going to be a base hit for Lofton. With 2 outs, that's going to score Munson. And Whitaker is going to advance to third. So we have runners on the corners here. And the Rockets have put up 3 runs here in the 14th inning. Lofton is getting a lead over there. With a jump of 3, his jump rating is 8. Let's see if he gets a jump or if he attempts it. He does get a jump. Let's see if he attempts it. 8 with a hold of 7. 92, I don't believe that's going to be low enough. 8, 7, no. Lofton stays put. So Ichiro steps in. Runners on the corners. Tough 29. Tough 29. That's going to be a base hit. It's going to be another single. Another 2-base single here. And the Wizards have totally fallen apart here in the 14th inning. Ichiro will also try to see if he has a lead 84 is going to be too high for him to also get the to go for it. 6, 7. Yep, too high. That brings up Alex Rodriguez with runners on the corners. Jenkins deals. That's not going to be, well, it's going to be a ballpark. And it's a rare play. Ballpark rare play. We're going to use 12 here. So let's see. Runners on base. Ballpark. Rare play. 12. Batter hits a deep drive to deep center field that bounces wildly off the wall. The center fielder eventually retrieves the ball and throws it to third. If his run rating was 6 or less, he's safe at second with a double. If it's 7 or more, he's thrown out at third trying for a triple, if the center field arm is equal to or less than the run rating. So let's take a look here. Alex Rodriguez has a run rating of 7. Center field arm rating is 6, so he's going to be out at third base after the double. So let's see, double, batter out at third trying to stretch a double into a triple. That's still going to clear the bases. And that's going to be out 8 to 6, we'll say, to third to end the inning, but not before a whole lot of damage was done. 6 runs from the Rockets in the top of the 14th. And David Cone still on the mound. There's no reason for them to waste anything at this point. Cone will stay out there for his second inning. Facing Stan Musial here. Ballpark. That is going to be another home run. I believe he left it hanging, and Musial takes that one deep. Could be too little too late. They need 6 runs here. That's their first. And that brings up McCovey. In play 84. That is going to be a ground out to Whitaker at second for out number 1. Wizards fans leaving the ballpark. They don't want to see the rest of this game. Mike Piazza, who came in to catch after Chipper Jones pinch hit in the 12th, will be the batter here. Facing off against Cone. Patient, 62. Piazza gets ahead in the count, but it doesn't matter. He swings away. And that's a fly out to Suzuki in right for out number 2. That brings up Ron Santo, the last hope for the Wizards. In play 6, and that's a double in the gap. Wizards not going to go quietly, or at least too quietly. They still have a mountain to climb here if they want to have any shot of this one. Everybody's straight up. Hornsby comes into bat. Hornsby had that home run in the 8th that extended the Wizards' lead. Seems so long ago at this point. Tough 25, and Hornsby will strike out to end this game, finally. So Detroit takes both games in St. Louis to lead this series. The Wizards will have to do something incredible to get back into this one. There's 3 games now in Detroit. The Rockets defying all expectations in this one. I feel like this base hit up here, I may have looked at the wrong column. May have looked at the lefty instead of the righty column with this base hit, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter because the Rockets still would have won this one even without those couple of runs. But I'll have to check the tape as I watch this one back. So let's see, what do we have here? We had Cone going the final 2 innings. St. Louis, Spawn pitched an inning and 2/3. And then the last out was Jenkins. So he pitches a third of an inning. Which by that time the game was out of hand. So Spawn's going to get the loss in this one. So let me see if I can remember everything that happened here. We're scoring this game. David Cohn's going to get the win here, and Spawn's going to get the loss. And Suter had a blown save way back in the 9th when the Wizards were up 4-2. And I believe that is it. I think Cohn gets the win, Spawn gets the loss, and Suter has that blown save. So if you're curious to see how that works here with ball score, I'm going to exit or export these games here, these roster or the score sheet. First on the Detroit side, I believe, and then on the St. Louis side. And I'm not going to save that quite yet. So just so you know the process here for what I do after the game is over is I pull up my score sheet. I have a score sheet template here. Where is it? There it is. And I open it in Paint. I do have better graphics programs than this, but I use Paint just because it's just simple. And I need to make this canvas a lot bigger because of all of the extra innings. So we're just going to make it really big for now, and I'll shrink it down when I need to. And then I come back to ball score, and I do a Shift Windows S, so I can do a little screen grab here of the lineup. And if it's a little, hangs over a little bit, that's fine. So that's for Detroit. I should have done this actually. That's fine. So this is Detroit, who was the visitor. And come back here and paste that in. And move it over a little bit. So we get everything on here. I think that's good. And then I do the same thing for the Wizards. I'm going to go down to this one and do a Shift Windows S to pull the Wizards side of things. Come back here to Paint and paste this one in. So those of you who didn't want to see this, you could skip on through this, I guess. But I know some people are curious at how this stuff works. So I line that up about like that. And then I'm going to save this score sheet here. And then I'm going to pull up ball stat now. Now you're going to see my desktop for a second. And I come over here to reports, go to box score reports, and I'm going to pull up the box score for this game, and we'll go to Detroit. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and here's the box score for this one. And we need to change the view because it's hanging off of the zoom out. We need to zoom out again. Zoom out. Maybe I wish they had a zoom in between those, because this one's going to hang over way too far. So because this one's going to hang over so far, I'm going to have to probably move this down as well, which is fine. And now, now with this ball, with this, what I'll do is I'm just going to grab everything and I'll go right to the bottom of the pitchers here, and then I'll just kind of do this twice to grab the rest. All right. So I didn't need to move over quite so far. That's fine. Okay, so that's that. And shrink this back down. And I will then come down and pick up the rest of this. And paste it down here. All right. So that's kind of how that works. And then I got to save it. So this is the June 4th game. All right, so with all of that done, let's talk about this a little bit. Let's just zoom in here a little bit and see who we have. Kenny Lofton was 5 for 8 in this game. Most of those singles, if not all of them singles. Yep. So he's definitely a standout. Mark McGwire, though, 2 for 3, and he had that key double there that tied the game. Though, if we were going to go who had the go-ahead, that's Bobby Veach here, of all people. 2 for 5 with a walk, and he had that 2-run homer that put them ahead in the 14th inning. So, curious to know who you think the player for the Detroit Rockets was, the standout player. I would probably say Lou Whitaker's 4 for 6 with scoring 3 runs, and he walked. So I don't know. He'd be another candidate. He would be another candidate in there. But I think you got to give it to Veach with the go-ahead home run in the 14th. I think that's what we have to do. So that's who I would make the player of this game. If we look at the pitching, Suter, blown save that led to all of this. Everybody else, the pitching was pretty good, except for, of course, Warren Spahn there, kind of blowing things there in the last inning and 2/3, or the last couple innings there. Everybody else pitched pretty well. Saberhagen allowed 4 runs in 8 innings. Marichal allowed only 2 runs in 8 innings, despite allowing 11 hits. Once again, Detroit Rockets, 23 hits. Now, granted, we're 14-inning game here, but still, they had 10 more hits than the Wizards. So, they are in the position here as they win the first 2 games in St. Louis. Game 3 will be in Detroit after a rest or travel day. And the Rockets head home up 2-0 against the heavy favorites in the World Series, the St. Louis Wizards. That's where we will leave things after this marathon session. For those of you who watched, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on your way out. Leave some comments. As with every game, I think there may have been mistakes here or there. We'll chalk those up to mistakes umpires made. I think, well, that's what we'll chalk it up to. I don't think anything that affected the game, hopefully, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was something in there that I did wrong that affected the game. But that's all we can do. Until next time, thanks for watching. Have a good evening.